Still think that it's a religion of peace? This is what they don't want you reading. Let's start with Surah 929. It literally says fight non-believers until they pay a submission tax. Sounds more like a religious mob than faith.
So, here we go again. Another person taking a verse of the Quran out of context and failing to understand it, and attempting to attack Islam with their minimal knowledge. The Quran in chapter 9 verse 29 says, "Fight those who do not believe in God or in the last day among the people of the book until they pay the tax, with willing submission and feel themselves subdued." So she's taken just a portion of the verse, not the entire verse. This verse was revealed in the context of war during the Tabuk expedition, when the Byzantine Empire was preparing to attack the Muslims in the state of Medina. This is not an order to kill all Muslims. It was restricted to those who were in the battle. And this refers to combatants, not civilians. So it's not a green light for Muslims to go and kill all the disbelievers.
Until they pay a submission tax.
It's not a submission tax. Learn what jizya is. Jizya is not a submission tax. It's the tax of a land. Just like how we in the UK as citizens or in America, we pay tax to live in the land, and in return the country offers us protection and hospitals and schools, etc. This is what it was. People who were living in the Muslim state back then paid a tax. Why? And in return for that tax, what did they get? They got protection from the Muslims. They were allowed to freely worship their gods in their synagogues and churches, the Jews and Christians. So it's not a submission tax, it's a PAYE, national insurance tax. And the phrase in the verse, وَهُمْ صَاغِرُونَ, means that they acknowledge the authority of the state. It's not a humiliation done by abuse. And non-Muslims under the Prophet, peace be upon him, and his family's rule, retained their religious institutions. They were given freedom to practice their beliefs. The churches and synagogues were protected by the Prophet and the Muslims, and they were allowed to preach and have freedom of speech and freedom of religion, unlike European forced conversions around that era and that time as well. And the verse does not say convert or die. Like, it says be neutral and pay the required tax. It's not an ultimatum.
Oh, and if your wife talks back, Surah 434 says that you can hit her.
Then she brings chapter 4 verse 34 and says that, if your wife talks back, then hit her. No, it doesn't say that. The verse doesn't say if your wife talks back, then you can hit her. There's no need to blatantly lie. Okay, it's 2025. People can fact check your BS. So the verse says, وَضْرِبُهُنَّ, right? That derives from the root word dharaba. Okay? And this word has multiple meanings, as all Arabic words do. And the majority of the scholars have said it means to separate, to travel, or to set forth an example. Scholars and commentators of the Quran have said that this verse refers to symbolic and non-harmful action, not physical violence. It is understood as leave them, not strike them. And our Prophet, peace be upon him, and his family said regarding women, the best of you is the one who is best to his wife. So there you go.
Europe has no-go zones, grenade attacks, not to mention the grooming gangs.
Grooming gangs. It is not going to end well for you, right? Let's have a look at non-Muslim grooming gangs in the UK and in America. Peterborough 2014 offenders were all white men convicted of sexually exploiting children. The conviction in Oxford, all of them white men. Plymouth and Cornwall, all white men. For what convicted of? Grooming and exploitation. Jimmy Savile, white. Hundreds of kids, child abuse. Ian Watkins, white, ran a child abuse ring. Jeffrey Epstein, white, ran a network of trafficking underage girls. Keith Rainier, 2018, convicted of grooming and trafficking. Who was he? Non-Muslim. What was he? He was white. Operation Broken Heart by the FBI, many white people exploiting minors online. The UK Home Office report in 2020 found that the majority of child sex abuse offenders were white men. Camborne, 2010, white men were convicted of grooming and exploiting 30 underage girls. Walsall, 2023, only 2 years ago, 21 white men were convicted of grooming.
This is what Surah 839 says. And fight them until there is no fitna, which means disbelief.
The Quran in chapter 8 verse 39, fitna means oppression, not disbelief. You don't even know what the word means, yet you're here trying to comment on the Quran. Come on, educate yourself. The chapter was revealed in war again, so you're missing the context. For 13 years, the Muslims were tortured, killed and expelled, and they didn't retaliate. This verse came to end religious persecution, not to force conversion. The verse even sets a clear condition. If they stop, you stop. So if the goal was just to kill those who disbelieve, then why does the verse also say, stop fighting when the persecution ends? What does this prove? This proves that it's not about killing disbelievers, because they disbelieve. It's about ending persecution of religion. So go educate yourself.